25 meters below the surface of the Pacific, a wall of stone rises out of the dark in perfect right angles. And in 1986, one diver found it completely by accident while looking for sharks. Today, that same stretch of ocean draws thousands of tourists a year, all staring down at something that Japan's own government has never officially studied, dated, or protected. So what is actually down there? A monument or just really stubborn rock? What you're about to see includes claims of a road, a castle, and a carved stone face that one scientist compared to an ancient king, claims that never made it into any peer-reviewed journal. You'll meet the diver who found it, the professor who bet his entire career on it, and the geologist who says the whole thing is an elaborate accident of geology. By the end, you'll know exactly why. Almost 40 years later, nobody has recovered a single tool, a single artifact, a single proof either way. You are floating in the water off the southern cliffs of Yonaguni, the westernmost inhabited island in Japan, closer to Taiwan than to Tokyo. It's 1986. You're not an archaeologist. You're not hunting for lost civilizations. You're a local dive operator named Kihachiro Aratake, and all you actually want is a new spot to show tourists the hammerhead sharks that migrate through these waters every winter. You descend. The current is strong enough to pull at your fins, and then at 25 meters, the seafloor stops looking like a seafloor. A wall rises in front of you. Not rubble, not a random boulder field, a surface with straight edges, flat terraces, and corners that look cut rather than broken. You surface convinced you found a building. Word spreads fast through Japan's diving community. Within weeks, a team led by Masaaki Kimura, a marine geologist at the University of the Ryukyus, is in the water studying what Aratake found. He measures a central formation, roughly 100 meters long, 60 meters wide, and 25 meters tall, a shape big enough to swallow a 10-story building. But here is what nobody tells you in the first news reports. The rock itself is far, far older than any possible civilization. Geologists date the sandstone and mudstone that make up this formation to the early Miocene period, deposited roughly 20 million years ago, long before anything resembling a human walked the earth. The rock is ancient. The question was never the rock's age. The question was when it was shaped and by what. You would have made the same mistake as everyone in 1986, seeing right angles underwater and assuming a mind put them there. Most people never connect that a canyon, a cave, or a cliff face can carve perfect geometry with absolutely no help from anyone. Yonaguni was remote enough that nobody official showed up right away. No government excavation team, no cordon, just divers, cameras, and a growing legend, nicknamed almost immediately, half-jokingly, Japan's Atlantis. You are Masaaki Kimura, and for more than 15 years, you keep coming back to the same 25 meters of ocean. Dive after dive, you map, measure, and photograph. And the longer you look, the more convinced you become that you are not looking at geology at all. You are looking at the remains of a city. By your own account to National Geographic in 2007, you have identified 10 separate structures off Yonaguni and 5 more related formations off Okinawa's main island. You describe a road connecting them. You describe the outline of what you call a castle. You describe carved channels you believe are quarry marks, evidence of tools, not tides. And then there's the Sphinx. Kimura says one formation resembles a face wearing a headdress, one he compares to depictions of ancient Chinese or Okinawan rulers. He tells reporters the carvings and symbols point to a culture with roots on the Asian mainland. It is, by any measure, an extraordinary claim. But here is what nobody tells you about how extraordinary. If Kimura's original estimate is right, that the structure was carved when it still stood on dry land roughly 10,000 years ago, it would predate the pyramids of Egypt by thousands of years. It would predate Stonehenge. It would rival Göbekli Tepe in Turkey, currently the oldest confirmed megalithic site on Earth. Think about what you just heard. A discovery of that scale would rewrite the opening chapter of human civilization, not adjust it, rewrite it. Kimura has a theory for how a city like this could vanish without a trace: catastrophe. He points to the historical record of massive seismic events in this stretch of the Pacific, including a tsunami in April 1771 that reached an estimated height of over 40 meters, among the largest ever documented anywhere on Earth. If the sea could do that once, he argues, it could have swallowed an entire civilization thousands of years earlier. It's a compelling story. It has drawn attention from Okinawa's prefectural government and international media alike.
And this is where everything changes, because not one piece of what Kimura describes has ever been recovered, cataloged, and confirmed by an independent research body. No tool has been pulled from the site and verified as man-made. No inscription has been deciphered. Everything rests on interpretation. Underwater, in murky visibility, viewed by a small number of specialists who mostly agree with each other. Kimura built his career on what he saw down there. Someone else was about to look at the exact same rock and see something completely different. You are Robert Schoch, a geology professor from Boston University, and in 1997, you strap on a tank and go down to see Kimura's city for yourself. You surface with the opposite conclusion. The first time I dived there, I knew it was not artificial, Schoch later told National Geographic. To him, the geometry that looks so deliberate from a distance falls apart under close inspection. The angles aren't as regular as photographs suggest, and camera framing, he argues, quietly does a lot of the persuading. Schoch's explanation is almost mundane compared to a lost civilization, and that's exactly his point. The sandstone at Yonaguni is riddled with parallel bedding planes, layers that split cleanly along natural lines, the way a book splits along its pages. Crisscrossing those layers are vertical joints, natural fractures running the other direction. And Yonaguni doesn't just happen to have this rock. It sits in one of the most earthquake-prone regions on the Pacific Rim. The answer will make you question everything you assumed about man-made geometry. Put earthquake-prone terrain together with rock that already wants to split at right angles, and you get straight edges, flat terraces, and sharp corners without a single hand ever touching the stone. Schoch goes further. The carvings Kimura describes, he argues they're natural scratches and scour marks. The holes, some interpreted as post supports for buildings, Schoch suggests they were carved out by underwater eddies, swirling in one spot for centuries, or by marine creatures burrowing along a soft seam in the rock. Even German geologist Wolf Wichmann, who separately examined the site in 1999 and again in 2001, reached the same conclusion. Natural processes, acting alone, are enough. You would have made the same mistake as the first divers in 1986, because Schoch himself admits the illusion is powerful. He calls the site fascinating. He just doesn't think it's mysterious in its origin.
Most people never connect these two facts. Nearly identical step-like sandstone terraces exist on dry land elsewhere on Yonaguni Island itself, above water, where nobody has ever built anything, undermining the idea that the underwater version needed a builder at all. For nearly 2 decades, it was Kimura's word against Schoch's. Then, in 2024, someone brought new evidence to the argument, and it wasn't an archaeologist. Era 4, 2024, The Erosion Files, the study that watched the rock break itself. You are part of a research team led by Hironobu Suga, presenting new findings at the 2024 Association of Japanese Geographers Spring Academic Conference. Your method is different from everything that came before it. You're not debating photographs or interpreting shapes from memory. You're watching the rock change in real time, dive after dive. Your team documents active erosion happening on the formation right now, bedrock detachment, abrasion, and the ongoing formation of potholes carved by nothing more than moving water and loose gravel grinding against stone. This is not ancient evidence. This is the same process, still running, live, decades after Aratake's first dive. But here is what nobody tells you. If erosion this powerful is still actively reshaping the site in the 21st century, it had tens of thousands, possibly millions of years to do the exact same thing before anyone was ever there to see it. A separate 2019 study led by researcher Takayuki Ogata reached a similar conclusion, using digital elevation models and field surveys of onshore outcrops at sites called Tindabana, Kube Ryofurishi, and Sanni Nudai, dry land formations just a short distance from the monument that show the same weathering and jointing patterns, with no debate about who built them, because nobody ever needed to. Neither Japan's Agency for Cultural Affairs nor Okinawa Prefecture has ever classified the site as a protected cultural artifact. That single fact tells you almost everything about where official Japan stands. Not a monument, not protected, not excavated by any government body in nearly 40 years. Think about what you just heard. The government of the country the site sits in has never once treated it as archaeology, and yet the debate refuses to die, because dating the site has always been its own tangled mystery. Coral samples attached to the structure, tested using carbon-14 and beryllium-10 methods, point to an age of roughly 2,000 to 3,000 years. Kimura, working from a different line of reasoning about sea level change, argued the underlying rock formation itself could be up to 10,000 years old. Dry land during the last ice age, before rising water swallowed it. Two very different numbers, two very different stories, both technically still on the table. Nearly 40 years after one man went looking for sharks, the argument he accidentally started still hasn't ended. Here's the strange truth about Yonaguni. It doesn't actually need to be man-made to be extraordinary. 20 million years of sandstone carved by earthquakes and current into shapes that fool trained geologists on their first dive, that alone is a kind of wonder most of us will never witness in person. But maybe that's exactly why this place refuses to let go of us. It sits in the gap between what we can prove and what we want to believe. And it asks a question every civilization eventually asks about its own ruins. How much of what we see is really there? And how much are we bringing with us into the water? No tool has ever been recovered, no inscription confirmed, no government excavation ever ordered. Just a wall of ancient stone, 25 meters down, still waiting for someone to settle the argument for good. If you'd have made the same call Aratake made in 1986, tell me in the comments. Monument or magnificent accident? And if you want more real mysteries backed by real evidence, not speculation, subscribe, because the ocean isn't done arguing with us yet.